I think after the game, when you guys asked me, like, I think you asked me, do you feel snake bit? No, I expect our cover 2 safety to play cover 2. And I expect our cover 3 corner to stay deep. And if we had done that in that game, those plays would have been eliminated. I mean, that young man was running away from MJ. We expect us to sack him on the first long play down the right side. I'm not so sure he wasn't even just trying to throw the ball away, and he just kind of got caught. So we're not snake bit. We're not unlucky. There's no curse. You got to play the defense called. If it's cover 3, play cover 3. You don't guess and play cover 4. So that's there weren't a lot of times. There weren't a lot of times where it was like, hey, we just, we're playing man, we just can't cover this guy. It wasn't that. It was those things. So those near misses are all, to me, they're all of our own doing, Mitch. Now I want to flip that. Their run game I thought was elite. Going into the game, I said it was elite. Number 4 was elite. We that I would say we have to be better at. But those big plays never should have happened. And we were giving up about 13 points a game down this stretch last year, and we're giving up a touchdown or 2 more now because of some of those type plays.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Bruh, really? Again? Matt Rhule doing Matt Rhule things at Nebraska? Wow. Just wow. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Matt Rhule making excuses for his poor coaching at Nebraska. As of right now, Nebraska has a 5-5 record as there are 2 games left in the season. Nebraska still has to play Wisconsin and Iowa to finish out the regular season. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So, here it is. Will Nebraska reach a bowl game this season? I'm going to say no to that question. In college football, you have to reach 6 wins in order to become bowl eligible. Right now, Nebraska is at 5-5, and I don't see how this Nebraska team is going to reach a bowl game this season, which is honestly a failure on the part of Matt Rhule. I know some people are going to say to me, oh man, why are you hating on Matt Rhule so badly? Matt Rhule isn't even a bad head coach, but you look at the resume of Matt Rhule versus the amount of money he is receiving from Nebraska, and you have to say to yourself, how in the hell does Matt Rhule get an 8-year contract that is worth $74 million? Matt Rhule is one of the highest paid coaches in college football, and you're telling me this man cannot even get to a bowl game? Are you serious? I mean, making a bowl game with that kind of contract isn't even really a good thing. That's just the bare minimum. Even if you make a bowl game making $74 million over 8 years, that's not really much of an accomplishment. But Matt Rhule cannot even get his team to 6 wins, and I saw this firsthand when Matt Rhule was the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. I saw Matt Rhule struggle to get his team to more than 5 wins, and his tenure at Nebraska is looking exactly like how his tenure looked at Carolina. How did Matt Rhule perform in his first year at Nebraska? 5 wins. Did they have a collapse to end the year? Yes. Nebraska started out the season with a 5-3 record, but then they fell off the cliff to end the year. They end the year on a 4-game losing streak, and they go 5-7. But you know what? Some people chalked it up to, oh, it's just year 1. He's still having to rebuild. He still has to get his guys implemented into his football program. So you have to give it time. So they say, you know what? Let me go ahead and throw the quarterbacks under the bus. Let me blame Jeff Sims. Let me go ahead and blame Chubba Purdy. Let me go ahead and get a new quarterback in the recruiting world named Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola is a really talented quarterback. He's got an excellent arm. He can move around the pocket really well. And he has a similar playing style to Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes 2.0, but when you watch Dylan Raiola play, this dude is one of the better quarterbacks in the country, especially for a freshman quarterback. Matt Rhule, to his credit, was able to recruit Dylan Raiola to come to Nebraska, which is pretty impressive. I'll give Matt Rhule credit for that. He's a great recruiter. He's an excellent salesman. But if that really is the case, then how come Matt Rhule hasn't been able to get more production out of Dylan Raiola in recent weeks? How come he's had to change offensive coordinators? Matt Rhule already had to change play callers this year, and he's bringing in a new guy to call plays to end the year. If this doesn't sound familiar to you Panthers fans, well, let me go ahead and remind you. You guys remember back when Joe Brady was the offensive coordinator for Matt Rhule during the first 2 years? I think he fired Joe Brady in the middle of his second season during the middle of a bye week. Yeah, I remember those days. He exactly did that at Nebraska. Marcus Satterfield was the offensive coordinator at Nebraska for for the first 2 years. He ends up getting his play calling duties removed in the middle of his second season, in the middle of a bye week. Now they brought in Dana Holgorsen. He gets to now call plays at Nebraska to finish out the season, just like how Jeff Nixon got to finish out the season calling plays for the Panthers in 2021. The reason why I'm focusing on this trend so much is because it sounds like Matt Rhule learned nothing from his failures during his time at Carolina, because he's doing the same exact things at Nebraska. That's why Nebraska fans are getting sick of Matt Rhule. I can't blame Nebraska fans for feeling that way, because I felt the same way when Matt Rhule was the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. I also want to show you guys some clips of Matt Rhule making a fool out of himself. You look at how he promised Nebraska that they were going to be contenders pretty soon. And then I want you to compare the clip to how Matt Rhule talked about the Carolina Panthers when asked about when they were planning to start winning football games. Roll the film.
In terms of timelines, I learned at the last place, to be careful. I probably didn't want to give a timeline. I want to win tomorrow. I want to win right away. If expectations sometimes run real, people get frustrated. I just know this: we're gonna work our tail off starting today, and we'll do it as fast as we can.
Flashback.
But I believe it's 1,000% working. I just know no one can see it, and I apologize. As I tell our team all the time, it took Jay-Z like 7 years. It took him 7 years. He had to start his own agency to become famous, to become an overnight sensation. Like, it takes time.
You serious?
Yeah, Matt Rhule sounds stupid right there in that Jay-Z quote. What the hell is Matt Rhule even talking about? But that's exactly why Matt Rhule is and will always be a loser in my mind. Matt Rhule doesn't have the mentality of a winner. Could you imagine if Deion Sanders answered the questions the way Matt Rhule did? He would be getting destroyed by the media. Jason Whitlock would be on Deion Sanders' grill every single day if Deion Sanders answered questions the way Matt Rhule did for Nebraska. But of course, guys like Jason Whitlock do not care about Matt Rhule. In fact, he's actually been pretty praiseworthy of Matt Rhule in recent weeks, back when Nebraska actually started off 5-1. But obviously, I chalked that up to beginner's luck. Nebraska really wasn't a 5-1 worthy football team. They just had an easy schedule for the most part. Outside of beating Colorado, Nebraska didn't really have an impressive victory anywhere else. I'll give Matt Rhule credit for being able to blow out Colorado. That was an impressive win. Unfortunately for Matt Rhule, that was because it was a dead clock right twice a day, because that is the only impressive victory Matt Rhule has had at Nebraska. Matt Rhule has never beaten a ranked team at Nebraska. Matt Rhule has only had 2 ranked victories in his coaching career in college, and the last one came in 2016, so that means it was a really long time ago. Matt Rhule is terrible in bowl games. He's terrible when it comes to winning games in order to have a chance at bowl eligibility, and Matt Rhule is ultimately a loser. His teams still lose games when his defenses allow 17 or more points, and his teams have still failed to make a fourth quarter comeback one time at Nebraska. Matt Rhule is not a mentally tough head coach, and when you have a head coach that doesn't know how to make his teams mentally tough, you're going to lose a lot of close ball games, which is exactly what Matt Rhule has done at Nebraska. I think Nebraska is going to lose to Wisconsin, Iowa. I think those games are going to be close, but I think Nebraska will just invent a new way of losing a close game, whether it's because the quarterback throws an interception late in the game, or whether it's because the defense gets torched late in the game. They'll just find a way to lose football games. The game plan to beat Nebraska should be simple for Wisconsin and Iowa. Go ahead and score 17 or more points against Nebraska, and you should be good against Matt Rhule, because Matt Rhule does not know how to overcome that obstacle. He still hasn't learned from his days in Carolina, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. So that is why Nebraska will not reach a bowl game this season, as Matt Rhule has been a failure in his coaching tenure at Nebraska. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I'm going to shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustNashTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at DustNashTran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter at DustNashTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.